Hello, friends! In this episode, we'll take a look at the European leagues where more draws have been recorded over the course of the season than in other leagues. We'll also highlight the teams from each league that have drawn most often and note where they performed better, at home or away. Let's get started. All statistics cover only the last 20 match days. The Danish Superligaen opens the top 10. Throughout the first phase of the season, the percentage of draws was not significant enough to draw attention to this league. However, in the final stage of the championship, after the clubs were split into final groups, the number of drawn matches increased considerably, and the average number of such matches per round rose to nearly 2. But in the final match day of the season, surprisingly, there were no draws at all. That's the statistic. Either way, based on my many years of observation, this league this season was not one from which you could confidently pick matches for betting on the draw. In 9th place, the Bulgarian First Division, the league has a fairly balanced lineup, with maybe 3 or 4 exceptions, which leads to competitive battles throughout the season, especially since, in the final stage, just like in the Danish league, the teams are split into groups where roughly equal sides face each other. A consistently high percentage of draws explains why this league is a regular member of this top 10. And we should be prepared to see this league again in future reviews focused on low-scoring markets, under 2.5, first half under 0.5, and second half under 0.5. Polish top division, I wouldn't call it a permanent member of this ranking, but it appears quite often. Here, an average of 3 drawn matches are recorded per match day. Steadily, without major ups and downs, the percentage of such matches holds throughout the season. I can't even point to a specific phase of the championship where a clear upward or downward trend dominates. And here is the top 5 clubs that most often produce such match outcomes. 4 clubs have 50% or more of their matches ending in draws, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find a draw betting opportunity here. And then there's the Italian Serie B, often, I might even say almost always, a member of this top ranking. Towards the end of last calendar year, they were firmly leading the pack in this ranking. Accordingly, the average number of draws per match day in the first half of the season, especially in the first 10 opening rounds, sometimes exceeded 4 matches. To give you a better idea, in round 2 and round 6, there were 7 and 8 draws respectively. That's 70 and 80% of all matches on those match days. Such moments don't happen in every league. Moreover, the list of clubs with a solid draw percentage here is quite long. On your screen, you're only seeing a small part of it. So, in my opinion, this league is very good for finding a match to bet on the draw. Watching this particular betting segment over the last few years, I have quite often been surprised to find the Dutch Eredivisie here. And if draws are generally seen by some people as dull and low-scoring affairs, then in this league, that opinion can be completely overturned. Because here, draws are often exciting matches with incredible drama, twists and turns, and plenty of goals. It's just that at the start of the season, there were probably fewer of them than in the middle and later stages. This was likely due to teams building up a points cushion to carry them through the rest of the campaign. But after round 10, the number of draws increased and remained at that level for the remainder of the season. In the Austrian League, for example, I personally find it difficult to spot potential draw matches because there is no real consistency in such results from round to round. A match day there can even pass without any draws at all. This season, that has happened 4 times. Of course, there are days when a match day sees many draws, but those occur much less frequently, and the current average of around 2 matches, which has been lifted by a slight increase in draws towards the end of the season, seems to me rather misleading. Even looking at the statistics of the league's top teams by this metric, you can see their inconsistency in these results. A burst of several consecutive drawn matches, and then a very long gap. I wouldn't say that the German 2 Bundesliga appears in this ranking often, but from time to time, yes. This season, the highest number of draws was observed in the middle of the season. At the start, there were significantly fewer, and the same applies to the final stretch. Over the last 6 match days, a drop of 3.5 percentage points from the overall average of the last 20 rounds clearly confirms this. If you look at the top 5 list for this metric, most of the teams are from the lower part of the table, those fighting for survival. As for the clubs from the upper part of the table, dropping points in draws has crushed their hopes of promotion to the top German league. The Turkish Super League has similar numbers in our ranking. At the start of the season, the average number of draws per match day was 2. From the middle of the season onward, that average steadily increased, as can be seen right now, and now stands at 3 draws. At the same time, in the recent rounds, similar to the German 2nd Bundesliga, there is a slight downward trend in such matches. By the way, the penultimate round had no draws at all. As for the top 5 by this metric, quite logically, they consist entirely of mid-table teams, with perhaps the exception of Kayserispor, who are set to leave the top flight at the end of the season. Perhaps it is surprising to see one of the strongest leagues in Europe, the English Premier League, in this ranking, and near the very top. For all my years of observation, I honestly can't remember a time when there were so many draws in this league. It certainly hasn't happened in the last 5 or 6 years. I specifically went back and checked. And if in our previous rankings, where we looked at the most attacking leagues in every phase of the match and over the full match, the Premier League was absent, then its appearance here today probably makes sense. In my opinion, this season in the Premier League hasn't been as exciting as previous ones, and for me, the only bright story has been the transformation over the course of the season of the legendary club Manchester United, who are once again trying to shine as brightly as they did in the days of Sir Alex. By the way, United are in our top 5, and one certainly remembers their fighting draws. Finally, in first place, we have the French 2nd Division, a league that has traditionally almost always been a member of this top 10, although draws have been distributed quite unevenly over the course of the season. At the start, there were many. After round 8, the number dropped noticeably, but in the second half of the championship, starting from matchday 22, teams showed a significant round-by-round increase in peaceful intentions. Well, this growth came to an end on matchday 31, which had no draws at all. I think the statistics of the top 5 clubs for draws will impress those bettors who enjoy hunting for draws. Today, I've presented to you the top 10 leagues where you can and should look for potential draws if you're into football predictions. You've learned about the clubs within these leagues that most often play out draws. You now have some understanding that such matches can be distributed unevenly across the season. Keep an eye on the clubs, their problems, their changes. Follow systematically and attentively. Learn to use statistics. Then you will easily have a wide selection of matches to bet on the draw. And with the right strategy, you may find success. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, leave comments. If you're into predicting football match outcomes, or you're looking for a game for your bet, I recommend my other videos that I make before each weekend. Football Predictions Box. You might find them useful. See you next time.